right, so let's go ahead and get started. And again, if you guys have questions, just interrupt me. I'm good. All right, so those of you that are not familiar with RPR, I'll just kind of quickly go through this. RPR, Realtors Property Resource, is NAR's technology company. We are a wholly owned subsidiary corporation of NAR. Again, we're a national database of over 166 million properties, parcel-centric. And then we add in on top of that over 350 different data sets, all streamed into one location for you guys to use. It is exclusively for realtors. You must be a member of NAR in order to have access to this at no additional charge. So this is a member benefit. And because of that, the consumer or public does not have access to this. The only way they would get access would be through a report that you would generate and send out to them. So why did we do a refresh? We're going to talk about that. I'm going to show you all of the changes that have occurred from the home page, from the search results, and we can even touch on commercial if you would like me to do that as well. So why did we do a refresh? RPR is about 10 years old, and we had a sense that it was about time to upgrade our platform. So we spent a lot of time looking at what our members were saying about the site. You know, as much as they loved RPR, it wasn't perfect, and we could find ways to improve. So we heard our members say things like, it can be hard to find things. I don't know where to start. I need quicker access to my previous work. So we heard from trainers across the country, agents, through our help desk, our member support services, and then we also had a lot of focus groups with agents across the country that went through, and we really worked with them to update the site. So we took all that feedback and we listened. And so let's just kind of take a look briefly at some of the highlights that we did. From the home page, we have a new pull-down menu for quick access, quick links to marketing and research tools, which I'll show you. We have residential and commercial all in one location. All you have to do now is just move the toggle up or down. We have new shortcuts, which are guided tours. I'll show you that today. And I know your inventory is about as bad as ours is down here. So I'm going to show you how you can search for new sellers as well as for buyers. We have cards that can help you with easier navigation, where you can hide a card if you don't want that information shown. So I'll show you how that works. On the search, we have a consolidated search form now. It's more versatile and robust. Search filter options. It's really more streamlined user interface, so it's easier for you to navigate and use right from the beginning. And then we also have new filters that will give you an opportunity to really refine your search for your clients and customers. On the search results, we now have a preview count. We also have multiple views. Well, we've got a list view, a photo grid view, and a map view. And then we have scrolling results. So in the past, you always had to go to the next page to look at the next 100 properties. Now you can just scroll down and it will keep loading up to 500. We also have checkboxes that you can use now for quick print. So if you have a search that came up with 50-some properties, but you only want to send 10 to a client, you can now check those boxes, do a quick print, and then just send those 10 properties off to your clients. On the commercial side, we also improved there the search filters. We added for lease and land use codes. We also streamlined their site selection tools. And we also have listings from multiple partners, from the MLSs, Gravitas, Prexy, By Proxy, Catalyst, Office Space, Total Commercial, and Land Brokers. So a lot more commercial properties are in RPR, as well as we've improved the partner deep links. All right, so let's go ahead and take a look. So here is our new site. I don't know how many of you have been in. Hopefully you guys have all kind of taken a look around. But the first thing up here at the top is our navigational bar. And no matter what page you're on, you can see that my page starts hiding underneath. This bar is static, so it's always going to be there, so you always have access to these tools. So right now we're on the home page. Under research, when you click on that, here's where you can do a property search, a map search, a neighborhood search, a school search. You can even do a market activity search. And then you also have two commercial tools here, site selection and map insights. Under marketing, here's where you can prospect for residential clients or commercial clients, create a property flyer, and commercial report. Now, this is one place where you can, if you're searching for residential clients, for instance, just click on this, and it's a guided tour through RPR on how to search for those clients. So you see this nice magenta box that just popped up on my screen. So if I'm looking for more sellers, for instance, all I have to do is click on sellers. Then it's going to tell me to start up here by clicking on research. Then it says map search. So it literally walks you through step by step on how to do that and how to find sellers. All right, so take advantage of that. So again, you can find that under marketing, but you can also find it over here under shortcuts. I click on prospect for shortcuts and it still pops up. Click on buyers this time. And again, it's going to tell me what to do step by step. All right. Reports. Here's where you can turn that bell on and off. So if you want the doorbell to ring when your report is done, leave it on. If you're in an area where it's quiet, just go ahead and turn it off. Create a CMA from here if you'd like, but you also have access to all of the residential reports and the commercial reports from here. Whatever page you can go ahead and click on any one of the resources that we have to learn more about that page. Whether you want to watch videos, you want to go down and read about the questions that people are asking, realtor insights, more ways to learn, and search quick answers. So all of that's right there. So no matter what page you're on, just click on that learn. You also have help, where you can type in a question. So if I don't know what an RVM is, I could go ahead and type in RVM and then click search, and it'll bring up all of the articles that have been written about RVMs or Realtor's Valuation Model. And you can learn a lot more about how to talk to your clients and customers about that tool that we have. You also have access to us 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. You can do a live chat with us, and you can also email support and then access our training area here as well. Anytime you save anything in RPR, you have access to it right here under My Work, where you can go to My Markets, My Listings, My Saved Properties, Recent Properties, Reports, Notes, and so on. So again, you can access that from any page. If during something that you're doing, you get a call from an owner or a buyer that needs to see something and you've already saved it, you can just click on that and it'll take you right to that section. Right here where my name is Joe, you can also have your picture in there. This is where you're going to access your profile and settings. So if you haven't been in there for a while, click on profile. Make sure that you update all of your contact information. Make sure you put your photo in here, your contact information, your title, and that's all going to show up on your cover page. Coming on down here, under the MLS and CIE, I really encourage you all to come in here and take a look after today's class. To go into your profile, right down here where my mouse is, there's going to be a link on yours. And it's going to say, view MLS data. So what you can do is you can pull up all of the MLSs across the country and see if they share their active properties with you. So if you have a client that's moving from the Des Moines area into Texas, maybe Austin, Texas, and you want to know if they share their active or off-market properties with you. If they do, then you can go ahead and pull up a search for properties in Austin, Texas, and help them literally find a property on the market. And then contact the listing agent and get a referral fee and send your clients down there to work with them. So another opportunity to really work with other agents across the country by using this little tool right down here where it's blank. Go in and take a look at that. Okay. Make sure that on the right-hand side you have your time zone correct, so that you know when you're sending out reports that will have the correct date and time stamp based on your time zone. Always come back up here also and click Save. Under your settings, this is where when you're looking at your map, you're going to be able to see new listings anywhere from 30 days all the way down to 1 day. So anytime you see that little new banner on the map, that means that that is a new listing within the time frame that you have set here. Same way with recently closed or leases, anywhere from 180 days all the way down to 7. It depends on how it shows up on the map. And then you can do the same thing with commercial. My markets or my home areas, you only could have 10 in the old system. Here you can have as many as you'd like. So you can see I've got some in here already. So if I wanted to go ahead and add, let's say I've got someone that's looking in West Des Moines. So I'll click on West Des Moines, Iowa, add that, puts it right in. You can see that's in there. Maybe I also have someone else that's going to Waukee. So again, put in all of the areas that you're wanting. You can even put in neighborhoods. So you can see here I've got a neighborhood here in Mesa. So you can keep track of all of the activity in neighborhoods and zip codes and cities, however you want to do that. But you can use as many as you want in here. All right, then make sure that you come back up here and always click that save, and it will save everything that you have done there. Once that has saved, I'm going to go back to my home screen, make sure that it's saved here. There we go. I'm going to go back to my home page. And we're back here. Okay, so all of your searching is going to be done in this bar here. So here's where you can toggle between commercial and residential. And you can see as I change, your tabs up here also change. And also down here, your commercial property searches will also show up down here. So if I change it to residential, now you see I've got my residential searches down here as well. All right, so this is what search here. We'll come back to that in just a minute. Here's all the shortcuts. So again, these are guided tours. So you can learn to use a map, create a report, do an investor analysis if you're working with investors, learn about opportunity zones and how to search for those, and create a CMA. These will literally walk you through step by step on how to use those tools. All right, so here's my markets here. So if I scroll down here, here's West Des Moines, so I can click on that. Pops up, shows me there's currently 32 for sale, 0 for lease, 19 price changes, 91 pending, 22 closed for sale, and so on. And this is occurring in the last 10 days. So this kind of gives you an idea of what's going on in the area. And then you can always go over to the map search and look at all of the other tools that you have there, which we'll go to here in just a little bit. But again, you can go ahead and search. So if I want to go back down here to Waukee, I can now look at Waukee and see what's going on in the Waukee area. So I can quickly look at all of the new properties just by clicking on. So I can see here, this is a new property, new listing within the time frame that I have set. So I can click on that and I can see the new listing here. So anytime you see that new, it's just a quick way to go in and find those properties and get that offer in before anybody else does. Okay. All right, so you've got those options here, and we'll come back to those here in a little bit. All right, further on the home page, you've got my listings. So if you're the listing agent or co-listing agent under current, you're going to see all of your listings in here. And then you can also sort it by list date or status. If you have a previous listing that you either were the listing agent, the co-listing agent, or the buyer's agent, those are going to show up in here as well. So those are new features here. Anytime you saved a property, it's going to show up in here, and then you can sort it. Any recent properties that you looked at and didn't save are going to be in here. Any reports that you generated are going to be here, and any notes that you've created are going to show up in here. So again, you can access all of that right from up here. If I click on my notes, it'll take me right down to my notes, my reports. Click on that. You can see it comes down and just opens up that report tab right there quickly. All right, I'm going to go over here to my searches. Any of my saved searches are going to show up in here, and any of my recent searches, which I don't have any because I haven't used this site. I'm using a QA site right now because this site, which is the site that you guys are using, we just had an update this morning and it was running really slow. And in order to get through an hour of class, I had to go into the QA site to show you. So we're having some performance issues today. So I'm cheating a little bit just to give you guys everything that I can show you. All right, so that's everything on the home page. All right, so let's go ahead and we'll do a search. You can also search from your current location. And if you don't have your location enabled so that we can search that, there will be a pop-up screen that will pop up and ask you if you are okay with enabling your search location. And then you can do it by your location where you're at. I'm going to go ahead and put in West Des Moines. Let's say I've got someone that's moving to West Des Moines, Iowa. And you can see you've got a drop down here where you can find places, listing IDs, if you put in your list or MLS ID, or you can look for APN tax IDs. But you'll also see your top 10 or top 20 searches also will show up in here when you start typing in. So you have that option. All right, on type and status, you can now look for properties for sale and for lease at the same time. So if you've got clients that are looking for both, you can now leave those both on there. The 3 default is active, active under contract, and pending. So you can go ahead and uncheck anything that you don't want. If you want to look just for public records, you can click on public records and then click on the sold time frame, or you can click on this little calendar right here, and it's going to pop up. And now you can look for this month, last 30 days, 3 months, 6 months, 12 months, or you can do a custom date range and then just select your date range here and click apply. All right, let's go back to properties that are for sale here and for lease just to show you. All right, your property type, you can select all, or you can unselect and then just select what you want. So if you've got someone that's looking for either single family or condo or any of the others, you have that option. Under the price, we've changed this up a little bit as well. So if I'm looking for someone that has starting at 3, so I can just type in 3, you can see everything that pops up here. So I could go ahead and click on 300 and type it, whoops, 3 million. Okay, let's try that again. I can go ahead and click on 300,000 there. And then you have the options here below to select from. You can also click on here, and if I just type in 6, you can see now that I've got 600, 625, 650, 675. But sometimes we have clients that are only approved up a certain number. Let's say they're only approved up to 665. So now I can go ahead and type in exactly what they're approved up to, right? You can do the same thing for lease. So for lease, let's say they're looking for something that is between, I'm just going to do 2,000 to 3,000. So again, you can select any of the options below. Then you can also add in your beds and however many they want, minimum and max. Same way with baths. And then we've got filters. Click on filters. That opens up a whole new menu here. You can make any modifications that you've already done on this bar up here. I can currently see I've got 83 properties that meet my criteria based on what I've already selected here. I can come down here. This is where your living area is. So I can go ahead and put in the living square footage and lot size, beds and baths if I want to add that there. I can look for distressed properties. I can either exclude all distressed properties, or I could just include short sales only, or notice of trustee sale, auction, or bank owned, or I can do all 3. And then you can also select a time frame here too if you're looking for those. You can look for properties that are having open houses that have been identified. If you're looking at land and lot, you have a drop down here, and you can now put in what the standard use is for that property, and just click on it. So now you have access to that. You've got miscellaneous fields. So if you're looking for owner-occupied properties, you can look for that and then start marketing to them. You can also look for absentee owners now. And again, by coming up here to marketing and doing that residential search, it's going to take you down and show you how you can use those 2 tools to find either renters that maybe want to get into a home now, or you're finding owners that are ready to either downsize or to get into something bigger. And then you got the time owned as well down here. These are the 25 most popular keywords that we have. And if you're looking for one, just click on one and it will be added. Your selected 6 will be in here. If you don't see what you're looking for, let's say we're looking for something with a green belt behind. I can go ahead and click on that and hit enter or return, and you can see now that that has been added. But I'm going to go ahead and delete those. So again, use the keywords to help you look for properties. And then come back up to the top. Once you have all of those, it's going to show you how many filters have, or how many properties have come in. Just click update and search. And it's going to take you over to whatever view you were on last. And I was on the map view, which is where I'm at right now. So you can see the map view here. You also have the photo grid view. This is a nice new view here. And you also have the list view. So let's just start with the list view and show you everything here first. So here is your navigational breadcrumbs. So if I need to go back to property search, I can start from there, but you can see I'm currently on the search results and I've got 83 properties. You've got the sort, where you can sort either up or down by any way from address all the way down to the number of units and anywhere in between. So take advantage of that. You can see we've got some check boxes here. So if I'm wanting to send off a list of properties, so I can go ahead and place a check mark by the properties that I want to print off. So print those, or place a check mark, and then come up here and click on print. You can do all results or only select it. And when I click print, this is what it's going to look like. And it will show the list view on each of those properties. So this is something that you could easily, and it's a PDF, but you could easily send this off as an attachment to let them know what's available that they might want to go and preview. All right, so those, I'm going to go ahead and unselect all of those. All right, so you can see this is a new listing. You can see when it became new by the status right here, 4621, and the price. You can see that the price has been sorted going up. If I want to sort the other way, I can also click on any one of the tabs, columns at the top, and sort the opposite way. So you have that option. You can see the address here, and then you can see the data, the beds, the baths, the square foot, the lot size, the year built, and the price per square foot. Now, if there's one that you want to save, all you have to do is click on that little heart at the end. It pops up, says save this property, gives you the address, just click save, and now it's going to access your saved right up here. I can go into my saved properties and look at that property again. If you want to unsave it, just click on it again, and then you can come over here and delete, and it will be deleted. Now your property was deleted. Okay. All right, so a couple other things. You can see we've got some arrows here, one going up, one going down. This is kind of why I picked this one, so I got more to show you. So if I click on that, this gives you the price change history. So I can see when it was first listed back in 20, and I can see what's been happening with it over time. So obviously this is a builder, and you can see what they're, now here's another one where the price went down, so I can click on that. And you can see that on 4/2, it was 500. Oh, actually, okay, on 3/25, it was 520, and then it went down to 500. So you've got that option here. You're also going to see multiple listings. And when you see that, just go ahead and click on it, and it will show you the listings here. Dawson Plan, under construction. You can click on the picture or click on the address to go in and look at those pictures if you'd like. So you have all of those options. If a property is open house, I don't think any of the open houses, nope, they're all gone. Yesterday I had an open house in here. But anyway, if there's an open house in here, it's going to show up in here. If it's a new listing, it's going to show new here, multiple listings. So you'll have all these little tags that will help you in your search for properties here as you're going through. All right, let's go back up. And then up at the top here, you can print, and you can also go ahead and create a report on anything you've got here as well. All right, the next one over is the photo grid view. This is kind of my favorite area. Again, you can sort. You can see all of the pictures here and then the data row of the properties below. You have the option here again to save it. So you have that little heart in the upper right-hand corner. You also have the checkbox, so you can go ahead and just place a check mark in each of those 4 if you'd like, and then click print. And then this is what it would look like for only those selected on the photo grid view. All right, so you can see all the information, and that can be sent out to your clients as well. Scrolling on down, you've got the multiple listings here as well. And any other information that the agent has done here. Let's see, we've got, I was gonna look for condos. It always tells you whether it was a condo or whatever property type that it is. And again, click on the picture or click on the address to go in and take a look at any of those pictures. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and we'll save that one. All right, and again, you can come up here and do print or mailing labels or create a report. And then the other one is the map view. So here are all of the tools that you have access to on the map view. So up here, anytime you save a search, I'll go ahead and save one and I'll show you. It's going to show up in this area here. On the show geographies, this is where you can go in and look at cities, census tracts, opportunity zones. You can search by zip code. You can search by neighborhoods, and you can search by school districts. So if I'm going to look at neighborhoods here, I can click on that. And you can see now the little orange neighborhoods have all come into play here. I can click on those, and it's going to show me what that neighborhood is. I can search in that area, create a market activity report or a neighborhood report, or save it. I hide that. It does tell me the name of that neighborhood. So if I zoom in here for you, you can see this is Southwood Knolls. I can click on another area, and this is Fair Meadows. So you can see the name of the neighborhoods, and then you can either search in those areas or save it, but you can also search in multiple areas as well. If your properties are showing up in areas that are not identified this way, then try a different neighborhood. So go down to minor and see if minor works. You will zoom in. You may have to move the map around or zoom out just a little bit. But minor doesn't always show up. It just depends on your public records. And then there's also micro. So if I click on micro, you can see now they start populating. So I can go ahead and click on that, search in that area, and you can see this is Jordan Park. So again, you have a lot of options here to search. You can also do it by school districts. So if I'm looking for 9th through 12th grade, let me zoom out a little bit here. Now you can see the different school districts. So now if I need someone that has to be in this particular school district, then I can go ahead and look for just properties that are in that area. Or I can go ahead and also select Waukee or West Des Moines High School. I can't remember what the name of that one is, but again, you can search in both of those areas here. So take advantage of those. I'm going to go ahead and select none here. Over on the right-hand side, you do have tools here, so you can zoom out and zoom in just by using the zoom tools here. Sometimes you get to looking on the map here and moving things around, and you lose where your search is. You just click on this center, and it brings everything back into the center of your screen, which is kind of helpful. There's also full screen here now. So if you click on that full screen, so right now I can see everything that I have done up here. And if I scroll down now and click full screen, it just gives me the map. So now all I see are all of my map tools here, which can help when you're searching for properties. Let me zoom in a little bit closer here. There we go. So not quite that far. All right, there we go. All right, so now I can see my properties. You can see the one that I saved here has that little heart on it, so you can easily identify any properties that you will see here. Right now, you can see there's a lot of definition here, hills, valleys, gullies, all sorts of kind of neat little view. When I click on view here, it shows that I'm on the terrain, which is a new feature that we have added here. The default is road. So when I click on road, you can see how everything is flat. You also have aerial here. So you can click on aerial and it's going to show you the aerial view where it gives you the street names and cities and all sorts of great information. If you don't want that, then I would choose satellite view, which takes away all the verbiage and just gives a lot of great information here. And then you can go ahead and zoom in quite a ways here, right down to the parcels. Okay, that's blurry. There we go. So I can even get down, I can see the parcels and how they're split on those areas and how each house sits on there. But you can also see all of the other things that are around that area. So take advantage of these tools here. Let's go back down to view. And then again, that terrain view, which seems to be my favorite right now, where you can actually see the hills. So if there's a house that maybe backs up the hill and you want to show it to your clients, you can show that there is a little elevation in that area here. All right, let me go back to center here. Okay. All right, so here's my properties. All right, the next one is draw. So if I click on draw, you still have your radius search, your polygon search, and the box, but we also now have freehand. So if I click on freehand, let me go back to view here, go back to road, and make it a little bit easier for you guys to see this. All right, so here are my properties that I've pulled up based on my criteria. So I'm going to go down here to draw now. And I'm going to show you the freehand, which is a really cool tool. If you use our mobile app, it's in there, but now we have it on the desktop. So click on freehand. This nice big pencil comes in, and now I can go ahead and really identify the areas that my clients are looking for by drawing on the map. Okay, and then go ahead and click search in this area. And then you'll see just those properties that meet your criteria now will show up in that area. So that's a great way to identify properties for your clients by using that freehand tool there. All right, the next tool, you've got drive. So you can do it by travel time. So I click on travel time here. Let's say, for instance, they work down here at DMAC. So I can go ahead and put in the actual address of where they work. Or I can go ahead and just move my little pin down to DMAC and then click next. And now, are they going to travel by car or by walk? What time of the day do they go to work? Let's say they go to work at 9 on a Monday. And they want to be no longer than maybe 10 to 15 minutes. So let me go ahead and put in 10 minutes first and click next. And it's going to show you what that drive time is going to look like. So they're 10 minutes from DMAC, and everything that's outlined in the orange is within that time frame. You can always click on that 10 minute and change that down if you need to, down to 5 minutes, and then click next. And then it's just going to show you those properties that are in that 5 minute time zone, which I don't have many there. All right, so that is travel time. You also have distance. So if I click on distance, this is a radius search. Again, put in the address, or again, move wherever you need. So let's say they work down in this area. Can't remember. And then decide the distance here. So let's say they want to be no further than 3 miles, and then just click next, and it brings up and gives you that radius search. So now I can see what properties are in there. I can also move this around. If I missed it, I can move it, and then it encompasses everything. Again, shows you everything that's available in that area. So you can easily just take this and move it even after you've done your 3 mile radius search. All right, so that is your distance. Traffic counts also, if you've got people that are looking at a house that backs up to a busy street, click on traffic counts. Select the traffic counts that you want to see. I'll just keep it on 15 and click apply. And you can start seeing your map is going to start populating goals. So here I've got a triangle, I've got a house that's close by, so I could click on that triangle here, and it shows that on EP True Parkway, it averaging about 15,804 on a daily basis. I can also go into the historical count, and I can see that traffic is getting a little bit heavier in this area. So again, you have access to the traffic counts based on the areas there. All right, I'm going to X out of there. All right, so clicking on driving again. All right, make sure that it clears your screen. If it doesn't clear your screen, always make sure you click cancel here, or up here it'll say clear as well. All right, as of this morning, points of interest are now here. Yesterday, this was not here for the agent. So today, you're the first to see this. So we've broken it down by community, so you can do all, or you can go in and just select what your clients are needing to be close to. And then once you've done that, then you can come up here and click Save as My Default. And then anytime you click on that, Load My Default, it will just show those three. So you can get very selective here on what you want to see. Same thing for business. If they're looking for different businesses, you also have that option down here. And then just hit apply if you want to see those on the screen. So if I click on that, you can start seeing all those little gray dots. And then when I zoom in to a particular area here, zoom in.
A lot of bars.
Then I could go ahead and click on any one of those dots. All right. It's a little slow here. All right. Not sure what happened to all my dots here. But you can click on the dot and it will bring up what is underneath that dot. Let's see, I'm not sure what's going on here. All right. Well, anyway, it's a new feature. We got some bugs yet, I think, to work out today. You can also do it by groups here. We got basics, you've got entertainment, and you've got seniors here. Click on that. Now they're starting to show up here, so I can click on that. Let's see, there we go. So this is Casey's General Store right here, and then I can search in that area. Click on, come on, mouse. Click on another one here. There we go. There's the First American Bank. So you can click on and get information. Once you find the area that they want to be in, then you can even come in and search that area for properties that are close to what they're looking for. All right, let's go back into POIs here, show you the rest here. All right, so again, you can do it by groupings, by entertainment, and also by seniors. So if I click on seniors here, it's going to show just those that seniors are typically looking for. So if you're working for them, then I just hit apply, and you'll start seeing those dots now populate the screen. To get rid of those dots, click on that and just come up to the top here and click clear, and then it will clear your screen and you can start from scratch from there. All right, so those are points of interest. Next one is schools. So here you can look at public, private, charter, or you can uncheck whatever your clients are not wanting, and then go ahead and select the schools and then just hit apply. And then you can see now the schools. So I can go ahead and click on one of those little scholar caps, and it shows this is Westridge Elementary. I can search in this area. I can create a school report for them, and I can also create a market activity as well as save this area. All right. So again, you can do a lot with schools. You can click on any one of them to find that school that they are needing to be. So now you see the outline of this school district. If I want to save that area, just click on save and then hit save. And you can see now that this area has been saved up in this area here. So when I click that down arrow, I can now go to that elementary school attendance zone and look for properties for my clients. All right, let's go ahead and click on schools again. I'm gonna go ahead and clear my screen. All right, let's go ahead, and one thing I did not show you was that save on that drawing tool. So let's go back to that freehand here. And I'm just going to go ahead and save this area here. Back up to the top. All right, so now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to save this area. Now you can save it as a custom name. So let's say this is for the Teeter family. Search area, and then hit save. And you can see now I can come up here and I can access this anytime I need to access it, because I've identified the area that they need to be in and the properties that we want to take a look at. All right. So that's how you can save and give it a custom name. Also, you've got data layers here, which are heat maps in the old system. So if you're looking for someone that definitely doesn't want to be in a flood zone, for instance, I can click on that. And FEMA is going to show me where all the flooding issues are located. So you can see we've got down here under the river here, the Raccoon River, and then you've got some flooding issues here. So there may be some properties, maybe this is a property that they definitely are not going to want to be involved with. So I'm going to avoid that one. So it's easily to see those properties that kind of fit the criteria that your clients are looking for. And then down here, you do have the key, anywhere from low risk all the way up to high risk. Click on the more. It is going to give you a definition, a source, where this is coming from, and it's updated on an annual basis. All right, so other data layers that you have access to, if they don't want to be in an area where values are going down, click on the concentration of distressed properties. And you can see that over in this area, we do have some distressed areas here. Not so much over in the West Des Moines area, in Waukee, but you do have some over here in the Highland Park area. Beaverdale's got a few, Merle Hay's got a few. So you have those options. So take advantage of all of these here. And then if you want to clear those, just hit the clear and it clears them out. Down here, you also have your legend where you can see coming soon, new listing, open house, those properties that have saved, multiple properties, with a number here, and then you also have the icons here and what those mean. All right. Let me go ahead and zoom in here, and let me find, let's just find a property here. So I'm going to click on a property here. I want to click on one that, all right, so here's one that has a 3. So here are 3 active properties in this area. And so now I can go ahead and just click one of those to go in and view it. And it takes me right to that property. So most of our changes came on the summary tab. The history, the charts, the CMA are pretty much the same. There's no changes there. The neighborhood tab today, as of today, we now have ARP, livability index in here now. So if you go over here to the quality of life tab under the neighborhood tab on any property, click on the quality of life here. Okay. Hang in there. There we go. And scrolling on down, you now have the livability index for the area that this home is located in. And you can see the scale here, and you can see what the score is, and it averages out all of these areas here. Anything above 50 is considered average, but you can see the scores can range anywhere from 1 to 100. So we've partnered with AARP to display this, and the score rates the neighborhood services and amenities that impact the life, their life the most in this particular area. And it's composed of 7 subcategories here. And this is going to be available on your property details pages, the neighborhood details pages, property-based reports, and the neighborhood report. So you have access to all of that as well. If you want more information, there is a link here where you can click on that and view it on the AARP website and get more information for your clients there. So take advantage of that. That is brand new as of today. All right, so let me go back to neighborhood here. Oops, let's go back. All right, so I lost my house. Let's just go back to my work. Go back to my recent properties here. Goes down here to recent properties. All I have to do is click on that. Takes me right back in and shows me my property. So it's an easy way to get back to your work when you lose it. So up here at the top, you've got the photos, you've got the street view here if it's available, you've got the overhead view if it's available. You also have historical photos if it's available. You have the photos that the listing agent has put in down here below, just like we did before. You can also show it in a bigger format here and scroll through. You have the property summary here, so it's showing active, when it became active. You have the list price. There's no estimate because this is a builder. Didn't click on the right property, but you get the idea. Here's all the basic facts about it. You can see who the listing agents are, co-listing, the office name, the agent remarks here. You have additional resources in here now as well. So under the additional resources, these could be things like down home, or what is it called? I just went blank. It's okay. It could be valuate is in here, zip forms in there, showing times in there, down payment resource, which is what I was trying to remember, could be in there. If it's a commercial report or commercial property, you could also have access to buy proxy and brevitas in here. But all you have to do is just click on those resources and go into their sites. You've got the description here. Here's a place where you can put notes in. So you could go ahead and add a note. Let's say awesome floor plan and perfect for the Teeter family. I could go ahead and type any notes here. It stays in my account. I can also trash it here. I can go in and edit, but you can see it does give you a date and timestamp there. You can also add photos in here. Again, it stays in your account. No one else is going to see that, but you can also add these into your reports if you'd like as well, your notes and your photos. And you got seller's proceeds right here as well. Here's all the property facts, public versus listing. Here's all the historical records, and you can click now on the ID. It'll open up a new tab and take you into all of the details about that particular listing. So you can click on any one of those. Everything else is pretty much the same as it was before. Here's that livability index score again. It's on that summary page. So you can see that, and then you can view it on ARP there. So this is kind of where most of the information has changed. Now you'll also see here, you've got these three little dots on these cards. These are called cards. So if I want to collapse this and not show it, I can just hit collapse and it doesn't show it. When I need to bring it back up, I can click on that and expand it, and it expands it. Same way up here under listing agent. If you're going to be showing a property on Zoom or whatever, you can go ahead and collapse that so they're not going to see that information. So that's a great opportunity here for you. And then always open that back up if you need that information. All right, so those are a lot of the changes that have occurred on this. And then all you have to do is you can come in here and print, and it will print this page. Loading, and then I can just scroll down and it will print that entire page if that's what you want to send out to your clients. The other thing I want to point out also is the map here. It is interactive. Click on the map. It'll take you right into your map view. And you have all of your tools over here on the right-hand side. You've got your saved area up here at the top that you can access any of those. You've got your show geographies. And then you can click on any one of these properties that are either on or off the market to show a little bit more detail about that information there. So here's a property that is currently just recently closed. You can see it was closed on 2/26. Here's a new listing right here. I can move my map around, go over here to the right, and look at these properties. Here, this one was recently closed. So I can just keep moving my map around and it will keep showing properties that are in that area. Here's another one, new listing. And if I want to go in and look at the full details, all I have to do is, and I can look at the details of this property from here. And then go back into that interactive map as well. Also up here at the top, if the agents have put in a virtual tour or a 3D tour, those are now clickable. So you can click on that link, and it will open up another tab, and then you can go in and also do view that link as well. All right, let's go back home here. If you're wanting to do a market activity search for an area, you can go ahead and click on research and come down here where it says market activity search. Click on that. Let's say I've got someone that's moving to Waukee. So I'm going to go ahead and put in Waukee, Iowa. Here's Waukee. And I can select the type of properties that I want to include. And you can see this little box popped up and said, it's going to return more than 500 results. And I'm going to have to refine my search a little bit here. So I've got 556 properties that I've found in Waukee. So up here at the top, I can choose what I want to include in my report. So I can go ahead and select price change, expired. I can also select the time frame that I want. So let's say I want the last 3 months. I don't want leases. I'm only dealing with properties that are for sale. So again, make your selections here. Choose the property types that you want to include. Let's say I'm just looking at single family. So I'm just going to uncheck those two. You can put in a price range if you'd like. You can also go into your filters and make any changes there if you'd like. And then just click update and search now that have come back into my search. So if I click close here, I've got, so you're only going to see the first 500 of the 504. So by coming into the photo grid view or the list view, change your sort, and it will change which 500 properties you're going to see. So as I scroll down, it will just keep loading and loading until I'm down to that 500th property. All right. So now if I want to create a report, I would click on create a report. It is going to take you into your report tab here. It's going to default down here to the market activity report. It shows how many pages are in the report, but if you click on that little plus sign at the end, you can customize this down and make it more manageable for your clients to view. The seller's report, I've got it down to about 35 pages, not 81. My property report is typically about 15 to 18 pages. So you can really customize these and not have the information in here that you really need, or put the information in that they really need and take out what they don't need. All right, so you can see all of the page elements. Again, hover over, it's going to show you what that page looks like. Come down here, you can make any other changes that you want to include or exclude. And then you can do your ranges here if you'd like. Choose the maximum number of properties, recently updated or days RPR, however you want them sorted. And then come down, personalize it, choose your delivery method, and then just click Run Report. This pops up, just hit the X out, and then if you scroll back up at the top, you're going to see that report up here is now being generated. So all the reports are going to now be up here at the top. Eventually, there's going to be a scroll bar, so you can just scroll down to find the report. Again, they're only there for 30 days, and then they drop off. You have that card where you can also collapse it, but it will let me know when that report has generated. Under the property report, if you want to include the, okay, here's the AARP livability index. That's where that's going to be located. So again, check or uncheck that box, and it's going to show you what that is, but you can see the extended home facts. So it's going to be on that report. The neighborhood report, it's also going to show up on the neighborhood report. And then also the mini property report will also be in here too. So take advantage of that new tool that we have, kind of play around with it, go into their site and check that out. All right. Any questions on, I know that's a lot of information, but any questions on anything that you have seen? No questions? Okay. Let me just kind of talk a little bit about what's next here, and then we'll take any questions at the end. Be thinking what you need to ask. Again, you can log into RPR from rpr.com or through your MLS. There's a link. Just look for the RPR logo or the RPR. Give it a test ride. Check out all the new features that we have in here. Focus on what your business needs are right now. So if you know you've got some buyers coming, or you might have a listing coming up, you know, do a little research ahead of time. Find out what you can find in RPR that can help you. And then also don't forget about that learn and help features up there at the top in that navigational bar. And let us know what you think of the new site. Email us at support@nerrpr.com. Let us know what you think. We're going to be adding new features throughout the year. So if you don't see something there, it may be there eventually, but you need to let us know if there's something that you're missing that you need. Please let us know by emailing support@nerrpr.com. Some tips for learning. Again, under the learn, no matter what page you're on, you're going to be able to get help just by clicking on any of the videos or any of the other opportunities that you have in there. Under the help, again, you can do a search for anything that you're looking for, and it'll bring up all the articles that we've written on that. You can contact us 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, do a live chat, or email us. And then to access our training area, just go ahead and click on that training area. It'll take you into all of our recorded classes and resources for learning RPR. If you do a search, for instance, it's going to pull up the articles. Just click on the name and it will give you all of the articles in there. We've got a lot of great tools in there that can really help you learn how to use RPR. Farming is another great search. There's a really good article on farming in there if you're needing that. But you can click on that. Training area is going to take you into our training area where you can go right into our resource center and view all of that. And again, up here at the top, if I click on help and go into that training area, this is what it looks like. So I can go ahead and if I'm looking for prospecting tools, you can go ahead and select what you want. And then it's just going to show you the classes that we have recorded so far. And then you can go ahead and click on that and view that, that class. So don't forget about all of our training tools here. Knowledge base as well as articles. So there's a lot of great articles in here that our marketing team and others have written that can really also help you with your practice. All right, Michelle?
Joe, we had a question online that said, how do we search for a ranch? I tried using keywords, but it didn't give any results. Is there a way to search for style of property?
I think eventually you will be able to, other than the filters of using the, the keyword search down there. If the single story doesn't work, let us know. There may be a glitch, but email support or contact support, and they will make sure that the product team gets a hold of that and lets them know that why that's not working. So single story should work. That was probably one of the most popular requests I know from agents across the country. So if it's not working, let us know, please.
Brian, New York City.
Yeah, I see Brian saying that the single story didn't work. It may not, maybe it's not talking to our MLS calling a ranch a single story.
That could be. But yeah, let them know that. We need feedback from you guys that are out there using it every day. That's how this software changes and gets better.
Awesome.
All right.
More questions?
Is there a way to pull like a seller report that has like the seller's contact information included?
Did you hear that? Is there a way to pull a seller's report that has the seller's contact information included?
No, the seller's contact will not, the seller's information will not be included. I mean, the only contact information that you're going to see is coming from public records. And so whatever public records has for contact information, you may not get phone numbers or email addresses or anything like that. You just may get the physical address of them. If you would go in, let's see, let me go into West Des Moines, Iowa, and let's just go into public records, and let's just go ahead and we'll do the last 12 months here just to kind of, all right. So I've got 457 properties. I'm going to go into filters here, and whoops, let me go into filters here. Click filters, there we go. Scrolling on down, let's just do owner occupied here, 10 to 15 years just for time's sake here. Okay. Nope, we didn't get any searches. Okay. No properties found. I'm not sure why. Oh, let's take off the price here. Single family. Let's try that. All right. So I've got 500. I've got quite a few properties here. But if you go into mailing labels, you can go ahead and export up to 2,000 mailing labels a month. So if I'm looking just for owner occupied or absentee owners, I can select that. I can choose to do a CSV, but it will give you their current address. So if they're an absentee owner, for instance, this is a great way to find out what their current address really is. You know, or the owner occupied, maybe they also have other properties. I mean, it's another way to search for their contact information. Every now and then I will see a property that actually has a phone number, but that is very rare coming from public records. So your contact information when you're going down and pulling up a property, let's go down here. Here's the owner facts. So go into the owner facts. It's going to show owner occupied, and then it does show their mailing address here. That's really all we get from public records. Okay, does that help?
Yeah. Are there more like market tools or like getting a snapshot of what's happening in the market on here? So for getting like months of inventory or average price per square foot for a certain area when you're doing these like neighborhood reports. I like to include that stuff with listing appointments.
Yeah, on the neighborhood reports, let me go into my reports on let me go into the market activity report is a great one. Let me go ahead and load, let me show you one of my market activity reports here. This is for Gilbert, Arizona, but it'll give you an idea what it looks like here. All right, so here's for Gilbert. So here, you can do it, you know, again, the time frame on that market activity report, whether you want 1 month, 3 months, and 6 months, but you can see the change over the last month, quarter, 12 months, 24 months. You can see the 12 months change in estimated value, what the median estimated home value is here, and then the change over the last 12, 24, and 36. Here's the distressed properties in that area. Here is the sales price, and then it shows whether it's gone down or up, the change in the sales price over the last month, quarter, 12 months, 24. Here's the list price, again, going up or down over the last month to 24 months. But then it goes into the market activity summary and shows the different statuses up here at the top, different categories on the left-hand side, and the values. And then it goes through each one of the new listings as well. So whatever you have selected for your changes and statuses. Go down a little further here. Here's the market activity closed, expired. So that's one way. Another one that is good, and I don't think I have any of those done. Another good report to do, CMA, and do the sales comparison analysis, even if you don't use it when you're doing a listing presentation. If you do a evaluation workbook, which has to be done with an off-market property, you know, you're going to do a CMA. So if I came down here, let me pick up on one of my recent properties here under, oh, now here, we'll just do Greenway. All right, so if you come in here to do a CMA, sales comparison analysis is a good one. It's a little more detailed. You'll need to know what your values are, but even if you don't, if you just do strictly the CMA, when you generate the report, it shows what the trends are over the last three months, 6 to 9 months, and 7 to 12 months. So there's a lot of great information in there, and then you can take apart that page, save it as a PDF, and then upload it as an extra page in your reports that you generate with the regular CMA. So that's an option that you have. I wish I had a report generated for that, but I don't. I don't have a the seller's report.
Going through with a property and just doing all the reports so you can see what you like too.
Yeah, absolutely. I recommend, and send them to yourself so you can see what each page looks like. And then again, you can always come back in here to manage custom pages. You can see I've got 3 in here already. You can add up to 5. So if I want to add another custom page, I can go into where I find. So here's my Arrowhead market activity report. Here's Allen Ranch that I've added. So I could go ahead and add in a market activity report, or, and I just added a few pages of it, or part of that seller's that sales comparison analysis, I could add that in there, and then that could be part of your report. So you can easily add those custom pages to any of your reports. Okay.
Might be a good spot for marketing self-promotion reports as well in there.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Any other questions?
Play around with it.
Yeah, we have to play around with it for sure.
Oh,
Yeah.
absolutely. Yeah, and take advantage of, you know, up here under the help, you know, go into the training area, watch all of our other little short videos, as well as our regular classes that we have. Join our live webinars. You can ask questions on those as well. So take advantage of all of our training materials that we have for you.
That is awesome. All right.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Joe. We appreciate your time.
You're welcome. Thanks, everybody. Stay warm up there.
Nice.